Vigil is the directorial debut of Keith Thomas. It stars Dave Davis as Yakov, a man sitting shomer for a deceased member of his former Orthodox Jewish community, only to come into conflict with an evil presence that's lingering in the house. So for those of you who don't know, I am half Jewish, purely secularly. I'm not a religious person at all, but I know enough about Judaism to understand some of its practices. So, quick lesson in Judaism from the worst, most non-practicing Jew in the world. A shomer is somebody who sits and safeguards a newly dead member of the faith, who sits and reads prayers throughout the night, the day before the burial, preventing the body from being desecrated or harmed by evil. And my telling you that was completely pointless, because the movie tells you in its opening title card. The Vigil is a really interesting movie. It does not reinvent the wheel in any way. It's something we've seen countless times. A gothic, grief-driven haunted house film. It runs in a similar vein to The Babadook and The Haunting, delivering a compelling, if not somewhat underbaked story about grief and loss. But what keeps it fresh and unique is that we're seeing it through a completely different lens than we're used to. And The Vigil offers us a really cool look at Jewish folklore and demonology outside of the world of Dybbuk's and golems. What makes The Vigil effective is entirely its setup. Sitting in a house, overnight, alone, with a dead body. Creepy as hell. The old lady living upstairs sending you video messages of her stroking your hair while you're asleep? Even creepier. Throw a bunch of weird noises and hallucinations on top of that, and you've got a genuinely creepy as hell movie. The Vigil plays around with a simple concept, watching a body, and does things with it that you would not expect to see in a film like this. This isn't an obnoxious jump scare fest. It's a slow burn, and it's much more concerned with giving you goosebumps and making your hair stand on end than it is making you jump. There are scenes in this movie that sent genuine chills up my spine, and I am still getting a little creeped out just thinking about them. The demon in question, the Mazik, has a gimmick that specifically works to create a genuinely terrifying horror antagonist just by design. And the way this film goes about showcasing it is both fascinating and terrifying, because it really leads into the uncanny valley whenever you do see this thing up close. One of the reasons that the scares are so effective is because Yakov is pretty flat as a character. Dave Davis is fine. His facial and physical acting are great. His line delivery, on the other hand, there's just not much to Yakov as a person. We're not given much of him to work with. He's awkward with girls, and he suffered a tragedy sometime before the events of this film that left him with PTSD. Great, that's an awesome starting point. But we don't ever go deeper than that. And his main conflict just kind of ends up boiling down to, face your demons. Cool. The synth-heavy soundtrack is pretty out of place, not at all matching the creepy, quiet vibes of the rest of the film. Not only is it juxtaposed with everything on screen, but it's also obnoxiously loud to the point where it's drowning out and distracting from the rest of the film. And that's even more maddening because there are some genuinely fantastic moments of sound design throughout this movie. One scene involving a television is a particularly memorable Goosebumps moment. And it's infuriating because for every excellent instance of sound design, there's a Hans Zimmer-style boom to ruin the atmosphere and take you right out of the movie. On top of that, there is a scene in this film, the aforementioned television scene, before the creepy shit happens. This scene is so over-expository that it is borderline comical. Imagine seeing a video of the professor on the recording from Evil Dead and just holding on that video as he explains everything unbroken for like a solid 3 minutes. It's that kind of exposition, and it's not smooth. I don't want you guys to mistake me. This movie isn't bad. I enjoyed it, actually. It's nothing spectacular, but it's a really cool, different look at a familiar subgenre through a different cultural lens, and I think that's really cool. I had an overall good, creepy time with it, and I'm going to say that The Vigil is solid. If you want to see a neat, grief-driven haunted house flick done in a very different way, this is a good one to check out, especially if you're a fan of more quiet, artsy, slow-burn horror films. You might get something out of this one, you might not, I don't really know. I would recommend it personally. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, click down there, like, comment, subscribe. There's a Patreon link down in the description if you want to donate to this channel, help us grow, make new, better quality content for you all to enjoy. You could be like any of these cool people right here. I would really appreciate it. You can give $1, anything. You can get access to all sorts of cool new rewards, anything from access to my private Discord server where we have monthly movie watches, to gifts sent right to your door. If any of that interests you, please consider donating. I would really appreciate it, but even if you don't, thank you so much for watching anyway, and I will see you all very soon.
Behind you.